Hey guys, you're watching the Trend Diaries and listening to Nidhi Jain, and summer is officially here, so why not create a colorful, smoky look? So if you're interested, then please continue watching. First in, I went in with a Sugar Arch Arrival Brow Definer to define my brows and fill in the sparse gaps. I really like this brow pencil and do recommend it. So basically I just filled in the sparse gaps and brushed them through my brow, and then later cleaned my brows with the help of the Conceal and Define Concealer from Makeup Revolution. This is basically a highlighting kind of shade for me in the shade 10.5, and I used it to just clean the perimeters of my eyebrows so that I get those snatched brows. So once I'm done with applying the concealer, I then buffed it out with the help of a concealer buffing brush. Now all the brushes that I'm using are from Jessup Cosmetics, which I got from their official store from AliExpress, and yeah, I use the same concealer as my eyeshadow base, leaving it tacky. I did not set it. For my eyeshadows, I'm using the Morphe X James Charles palette, and this is the mini one. I picked up that orange shade and packed it in. So basically we are gonna press the shadow and not use windshield wiper motions. Just keep on pressing as we have the base still wet. So in this way the eyeshadow would grab onto your lid and you would not face any fallout. After that I picked up this yellow shade on another fluffier brush. So I basically use the 50-50 technique over here. So if you're new to my channel, you would not be knowing about this technique. So what I do is I place 50% of the shadow on the lower shade and 50% on the base. So in this way you will get that blend, and as we move towards the brow, we are gonna be using more fluffier brushes so that it would give us a more softer blend. So remember that, and just using the yellow and the orange and basically packing it first, and then turning the brush to 90 degrees straight and then blending it. So this brush is basically a kind of MAC 217 kind of brush. So these kind of brushes are to be used horizontally flat while packing the shade and then be turned to 90 degrees while blending them. So I'm doing the same with the orange here. I just re-intensified the orange and then again cleaned it or blended it with the yellow. Then moving on to cutting the crease, I use the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer with a flat concealer brush and cleaned or basically carved out the lid space. So again use the concealer all over the surface area of the brush and just press it. Like, you need not have to move your hand while doing this. Just keep your hand stable and just keep on stamping the brush on your lid. You would get that perfect crisp cut crease. So that is the way you do it. It's very easy. You just need to have a stable hand and not, you need not move your neck. Just hold on to your breath while doing your cut crease. So once that is done, I then moved on to the orange again, and here I'm using it just diagonally so that I get that blend between the concealer and the outer V, and then use the yellow again, 50-50 technique over here, just to give it a softer blended look, as I do not want any harsh edges to be seen whatsoever. Now once that is laid, that was all the blending part. So you just need to go on like back and forth with colorful shadows to get that pigment what you want. And for the pop of color, I use this bright neon pink right on the edge of the cut crease and placed it with a packing brush. So basically we are just gonna keep it like a liner sort of thing. So I just packed it over there and then again cleaned my lid with the help of the concealer. So basically I just carved out my lid again. And yeah, once that is done, we would again go in with the orange and the yellow on the outer V so that we get a blend between the concealer edge and the shadows. We do not have any room for unblended shadows or harsh edges, so keep on adding and blending. So with colorful shadows you have to go back and forth, as I said, and as you go in with newer shades you have to re-intensify the earlier ones as they get lost in the process of blending. So yeah, I just did that with the yellow and orange like I did before. And yeah, that was all for the eyeshadow main blending part. And then for my lid I used a silvery kind of shade. It does have a yellow pink, not yellow, a pink reflex to it, and placed it with a smaller packing brush on the crease on the lid area, and then just blended it out. So yeah, that was all for the eyeshadow. Then I just drew a wing liner with the Lakme Insta liner off camera and applied loads of mascara to my lashes, and basically I was just not able to figure out where I kept my falsies, and so you would not see any falsies over here. For priming I used the WetNWild Dewy primer and primed my face. And then for my foundation I'm using the Fast Base foundation stick from Revolution in the shade F12, and applied it in stripes all over my face and neck and blended it all out with the help of this Plume microfiber sponge. So basically it's very simple, yeah, there's no such great rocket science in this. I just applied it, blended it all out. And then for my cream contour I used the FWD face FWD contour stick from Sugar. I am lately loving these sticks, like, you know, they just give you that extra snatched look. And applied it to the perimeters of my face and blended it all out with the same sponge. So basically in the hollows of my cheek, the temple zone, the forehead, bridge of the nose, a little bit right underneath the lower lip to give it that extra pout, and need not forget the double chin. So yeah, I just applied all over there the contour shade and blended it out. And once I'm done with that, I did set the concealer zone with the help of this mattifying dream cover powder from Sugar Cosmetics again, and just set it lightly. And once I'm done with that, next I moved on to bronzing, and for that I used the Tan Time bronzer from Lottie London and set the contour that we did earlier with the help of this bronzer. So again it is going in all the perimeter zones of the face to add warmth and sun-kissed look. I absolutely love this bronzer, so if you're like from NC42 and up, this bronzer is gonna look fab on you. So once I'm done with adding all that warmth back to my face, I went in for the pop of color, which was much needed. This is the LA Colors Rad Rouge blush in the shade Poppin, a beautiful orange blush. Applied it to the apples of my cheek and chin, and then for the highlighter I went in with the highlighter shade from the James Charles palette and applied it to the tops of my cheekbone, the bridge of my nose, a cupid's bow chin, a little bit on the forehead, and then popped some of the same highlighter shade in my inner corners and highlighted my brow bone too with the same. So yeah, that was all the base part done. Now after that, moving into the lower lashes to complete the eye look, I used the orange shade again with a shader brush and applied it in my lower lash line, and not concentrating it, just diffusing the color out as a base shade. So I applied the orange shade first and then picked up that hot pink shade and applied it to the inner third of my eye, just focusing it there. And after that's done, I use the yellow to just merge all the shades together and tie the look together. I used the yellow one to just blend it all out and applied mascara to my lower lashes to complete the look. I also used the WetNWild Kohl. This is in nude shade. I think it's called as Calling Your Buff, and applied it in my waterline. For my lipstick, I used a WetNWild lip liner in the shade Chestnut. It's a beautiful lip liner. And then the lipstick which I used was by K Beauty. It is their matteinee lip crayon in the shade Papp-Ed, and that's the finished look.